Hello and welcome to Crafty Club. Today you will be learning how to do the knit stitch, how to cast on, how to cast off, how to do a slip knot, and what to do with your loose ends. Alright, so let's get started. But before we start, if you are a beginner and you haven't seen my other video on the basics of knitting, you should pause this and go ahead and watch that first, and then come back to this once you're done. So, the first thing, in order to get your yarn onto your needles, you're going to need to make a slip knot. So, don't know how to do that? I'm going to teach you right now. If not, just skip past this section of the video. So you're going to make a loop like that, and then you're going to stick it in just like that, and then you're going to pull tight, and that should make a slip knot. I'll do that one more time. So you make a loop, stick this end through, not the end that ends, the end that's in the ball of yarn, and you're going to stick that through and then pull that loop up, and that should make your loop. So you stick your needle on and tighten it by pulling the two strings, and you want to make sure that your tail is, I don't know, that one was probably too long and I have a knot in it, but this is just to show you guys. So maybe I have it that long. I don't think you need it that long, but it's better to have more than have less than what you need. Okay, so now you're gonna do what is called casting on. So you need to cast on the rest of your stitches. There's some fancy way that's like, but I don't know how to do that, and this is a much easier way to do it. So you're gonna loop your finger like that, and you're gonna stick the needle through there. So you just go like that, and through, like that, and through. And then you cast on as many stitches as you want to. I'm not doing a specific number, but that looks good. So now just space them out a little bit. And now you are going to actually start knitting. Okay, so what you're gonna do is you're gonna stick this through there, just like that, and this needle should go to the back of the other needle. And you're gonna take the strand of yarn from the ball of yarn, and you're gonna wrap it behind and over. And then you're gonna pull the back needle down, and then through like that, and then you're gonna scoot it off, and then pull it kind of tight. Okay, so once again, you're going to go like that to the back, the right needle to the back of the left needle. You're gonna loop this around, and then you're gonna pull back and through, and then you pull it kind of tightly. So, and if you can't get the loop up so you can put it under, just pull it up a little bit so you can. So stick it and back, and then around the back needle, down and through that hole and up, down, around. I think that the easiest way to learn how to knit is have somebody show you and sit there with you so you can practice, because then they're going to correct any mistakes that you're making, and then you can really ask them any questions you have. And it's just, I think it's easier to learn if you're in person with somebody rather than watching a video, but who knows, maybe. I hope that this will help you. So I'll do it one more time. You go in, and the needle in your right hand to the back. You take the string, not the one, this is the tail. You don't take the tail. You take from the ball of yarn, and then you wrap it around to there. I don't know if you can see that, but like there. And then you pull down and in. And you kind of pull it tightly. So you can make you can knit as long, you can cast on as many stitches as you want to. That'll determine the width, and then however long you want to do it will be on how many rows you do. So one thing you want to be careful of is when you finish a row and it's all transferred onto the other needle, then there's kind of like this loop. I don't know if you can see that, but there's this loop, and if you make that, if you go into the loop like that, then that's gonna make it's gonna add a stitch. So you wanna make sure that you're in the end of your stitch, at the end of like a row, that you're not making the mistake of going through that loop, that you're pushing that aside and you go straight through there. Okay, so now I have done maybe, I don't know, 8 rows. It looks pretty good. So now the next step is going to be cast off. So this is how you end off your project or your scrap or whatever you're doing. So what you're gonna do is you are going to knit 2 stitches. 1, 2, and then you're gonna grab the bottom one and you're gonna bring it over. So you can use your fingers, you can use a crochet hook, you can use your needle. So I'm going to bring it over with my needle. I'm gonna hold the other stitch down so make sure that it doesn't go over, and then you bring it over the needle and off, and then you pull it. So you're gonna knit 1 now, bring this over. So here I'm gonna use my hands and just make sure that your other stitch doesn't come off as you lift it over. So that, knit 1, and you're gonna lift over. So what I do to make sure that the other stitch doesn't come off is I hold the top of the needle and then I just lift it off and then I let go. So once again, you knit 1. And then you bring the bottom one over the top one and off of the needle. So knit 1, over, and then off. Okay, so I only have 2 stitches left and I only have 1 and I have none on this needle. So what do? So everything else is off. So now what you're gonna do is you're gonna bring it over, bring the stitch over just like you were. Stick my needle in, and bring it over, and now you only have 1 stitch left. So you're gonna pull it out a little bit so you have a loop. And then now I'm going to take my scissor things. I'm gonna cut off, leaving a good amount of tail. So I cut, and now what you're gonna do is you're gonna thread the bottom through the loop, and then you're gonna pull tight, and that way you make sure that that won't come undone. So now you have your little square, or in this case it's a little square, and now what you have to do is you have to weave in your ends. So you're gonna take your knitting needle, or it just has to have a wide hole so you can stick the yarn through it. This one has a weird dip at the end, so I usually don't use that one. I use this pink one. Can't get it out. Oops. Okay, so I use this pink one. See how it has a wide hole? You need a wide hole in order for you to be able to thread the yarn through, because sometimes you're going to end up using pretty thick yarn. So you're going to thread one of the ends through. Might be kind of hard, you might have to lick it, but yarn doesn't taste very good. So you're going to pull it through, and then, Charlotte, please. So it is threaded through, and now what you're going to do is you're just kind of weave it in. So you can go in whatever way you want, as long as you're just going in different directions, so you make sure that it won't, you can assure that it won't, that the tail won't come out of the fabric, the yarn, and then that would mess up your whole project. So once you do, I did maybe 5. Once you do that, with your remaining yarn, you're just gonna, with the remaining tail, you're just gonna cut, and then it's all weaved in, and so you know that it won't come out. And so then you're just gonna do the other tail, making sure that you weave it in, and that's how you do it. So both of the tails are woven in, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video and that you now know how to knit, cast on, cast off, do the slip knot, and that you're ready to make a project now. So start off and just make a scrap, and now you should be able to knit a scarf, knit a hat, whatever you want. Thank you guys for watching Crafty Club today. I hope you learned a lot and now you're able to knit. Please be sure to like and subscribe.